Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a horror film, The Host. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins where an American military pathologist orders his Korean assistant to dump chemicals in the drain. However, the assistant is reluctant to dump it there, knowing that the chemicals would contaminate the river. The pathologist insists on dumping it. The assistant has no choice but to dump the enormous amount of chemicals down the drain. Sometime later, fishermen find a small strange creature in the river, but it escapes from them. In the next scene, a sleepyhead blondie called Blondie is snoozing at their family store while a kid is trying to steal from their store. But the kid fails to steal as Blondie's father named Grandpa shoo them away. His sleeping habit annoys Grandpa, so Grandpa wakes him up to cook the squid. Shortly after, while cooking the squid, Blondie gets one leg from the squid and takes a bite from it. Then his daughter, short-named Daughter, arrives from school. While he happily runs towards Daughter, he falls to the ground looking like a dimwit. Daughter is frustrated that she is the only one accompanied by an uncle, rather than a parent at her school. Also, she is using a defective phone, making her unable to answer calls, so she is embarrassed about using it. Later, inside their house, Blondie shows Daughter a Raymond cup containing coins. He tells her that she can use it to buy a phone. However, she knows it will not be enough to buy a phone, so she just proceeds to turn on the TV to watch her auntie. Apparently, Andy is competing in the national archery competition. They are both excited and nervous watching Auntie on TV. Suddenly, Grandpa tells Blondie to go outside. Grandpa scolds him for stealing the squid's one leg, since the customer complains that the squid only has 9 legs. So he returns the squid's one leg. To compensate the customer, Grandpa orders him to bring free beer to the customer. As he's about to give it to the customer, a strange thing hanging in the bridge gets their attention. Meanwhile, inside their house, Daughter and Grandpa scream joyfully as Annie hits the bullseye. Back at Blondie, the strange thing turns out to be a large creature. The creature jumps to the river. Then he throws a can of beer at the creature. As the creature takes the can of beer, everyone watching seems to be greatly amused by it. So they throw things in the river, thinking that the creature is like a dolphin. Then Blondie gives a squid to the customer, telling him that it now has 10 legs. Suddenly, his face appears to be surprised. Apparently, he sees that the creature is now ravaging the riverside park. Everyone there quickly runs away in panic. Then there's a woman enjoying a melody from his headphones, completely unaware of what's happening. The creature instantly drags her. After that, the creatures go inside a house, trapping everyone in there. The trapped people look like zombies as they try to escape to the other door. Blondie, with another man, helps them open the door. Shortly after, he tries to fight the creature. As he smashes its tail, blood splatters towards his face. This makes the creature scream in pain. Its attention then moves towards him. Meanwhile, Annie fails to make a shot in the competition, making her lose the chance to get the title. Daughter, who watches her on TV, gets out of the house in frustration. Suddenly, Blondie grabs her swiftly as the creature is running towards them. Then he falls to the ground, losing grip on Daughter's hand. He quickly grabs her hand again in panic. But as he checks behind, he grabs the wrong girl. He then sees the creature dragging away the helpless Daughter. He desperately tries to chase the creature. In the end, he has no choice but to watch the creature swim away while taking Daughter. After that, the military arrives to close the riverside area, so he and Grandpa need to evacuate. Later, Auntie, who is in tears, arrives at the mourning ceremony for the creature's victims. She takes out her bronze medal as she walks towards Daughter's picture. Blondie and Grandpa are also there mourning. Shortly after, the drunkard uncle, short-named Uncle, arrives there. They cry together for the loss of Daughter. Funnily enough, they cry, rolling on the floor, looking like babies having tantrums. This gets the attention of the newsmen, who take photos of them. Then, Uncle suddenly beats up Blondie as he blames him for Daughter's loss. Later, they calmly talk about Daughter's mother. As it appears, her mother runs away after giving birth to her, while Uncle kicks Blondie, who is just sleeping at Daughter's wake. Blondie is deeply asleep while scratching his smelly sausage in front of everyone. Grandpa is thinking about having revenge on the creature, so he can at least get Daughter's body back from its stomach. Behind them, a man in a quarantine suit arrives and asks for those who were on the riverside earlier. Uncle angrily asks him to explain what is happening. To save time, he turns on the TV so everyone will know what is happening. But there is no news on the TV. He then just tells them that they are under control, while other quarantine men arrive to guide the people outside. The man asks who among them has direct contact with the creature. Blondie replies that the creature's blood splattered on his face earlier, so the quarantine men hilariously seal him in a body bag and drag him away. Meanwhile, the news broadcasts that the creature is a host of a new unknown virus. As a result, only biological warfare experts and disinfectant units are allowed inside the river. Later, Blondie, together with his family, arrives at the medical facility, which is loosely guarded. Blondie thinks that he has been contaminated by the virus since his back is itchy. Grandpa comforts him by telling him that it is itchy because he has not taken a bath. Then the doctor restricts Blondie from eating anything, since he will take medical tests tomorrow. But later in his bed, he sneaks to eat canned food using his filthy hands. Suddenly, he receives a call from daughter, who is asking for help. As it appears, she is in an unknown sewer, confirming that she is still alive. In the next scene, the creature drags away the disinfectant units towards the sewer. It even licks one of them before it leaves, while daughter nervously hides in a hole in the sewer. In the meantime, Blondie informs the police officer that daughter calls him, but the police officer won't believe him since she is already on the death list. Blondie then stupidly explains that daughter has already died, but at the same time she is alive. So Uncle, Grandpa, and Andy try to help explain the situation, but they all fail to convince the police officer. In frustration, Blondie hilariously demonstrates how the creature puts daughter in its mouth and how it spits her towards the sewer. This makes the police officer think that Blondie needs psychological treatment. Shortly after, as Grandpa and Uncle argue with each other, Andy realizes that daughter is already starving in the sewer. So later, they escape from the hospital. They quickly run away while medical workers chase them down. In the parking lot, a van awaits them. They ride the van to escape from there. The police officer tries to stop them, but in the end, they successfully escape. After that, Grandpa gives everything he has to the thugs to pay for their escape and a disinfection truck they will use to sneak to the river. Meanwhile, Blondie, Uncle, and Auntie are watching the news in the van. It features the photo of Blondie and Auntie. Apparently, the authorities are hunting them down as fugitives for escaping from the quarantine facility. Blondie seems to be excited about appearing on TV, while Uncle is frustrated as the news did not show him at all. Then, Grandpa arrives, telling them to move towards the disinfection truck. In the disinfection truck, they grab guns and start to wear gray quarantine suits. They pretend to be the disinfectant unit so they can enter the river. At their arrival in the river, the guard checks on them. The guard appears to be hesitating to let them in, so Grandpa grabs Blondie's coin to bribe the guard. They then successfully enter the river. Inside, they search through the dark and filthy sewer of the river with their flashlights. As they are driving towards the other sewer, Blondie is running behind the truck, trying to absorb the disinfectant, since he worries that he might transmit the virus to daughter. In another sewer, they notice something strange inside, so they start shooting randomly. Then they realize that the seemingly strange thing is only the water dripping from the sewer. Above them, two kids are sneaking towards the river. They head towards the food store. There, they steal food so they can fill their hungry stomach for a while. As they are about to leave, they encounter the creature at the bridge. Suddenly, the creature backflips towards them. They then quickly run away, but the creature continues to chase them. Meanwhile, Grandpa and his family take a break at their store to eat. As they are eating, daughter suddenly sits up to take a bite from their food. It turns out that it is only their hallucination, as daughter is alone at the sewer, trying to catch water to satisfy her thirst. Suddenly, she hears the creature. She then pretends to be dead. The creature takes the two kids there. The younger kid is still alive, so she protects it. Back at the store, Grandpa explains why Blondie becomes a sleepyhead. Apparently, during Blondie's childhood, Grandpa was unable to take care of him properly. Meanwhile, Uncle and Andy fall asleep listening to Grandpa's story. Blondie wakes up and notices the creature watching them from outside. Grandpa then shoots the creature. In anger, the creature forcefully flips their house. To fight back, Grandpa shoots the creature's mouth, making it fall to the ground. After that, they go outside the house to finish off the creature. As the creature runs away, they continue to chase and shoot it, but it just backflips away. As they see the authorities arriving, they quickly escape, but Grandpa decides to go back to finish off the creature. Blondie then gives his gun to Grandpa, thinking that it still has bullets. As Grandpa shoots the creature, the gun appears to be empty. Grandpa knows that he's about to die, so he just tells Blondie to run away. The creature runs off Grandpa, making him fall to the ground. Then, it smashes Grandpa with its tail, leading to his death. Blondie goes back, desperately trying to help Grandpa. To avoid captivity, Uncle and Auntie escape while the authorities capture Blondie. Later, Uncle secretly meets his friend. He asks his friend to help him trace daughter's location, but it turns out that his friend cooperates with the police to capture him for the bounty. As his friend talks to the police secretly in the room, Uncle is able to quickly trace daughter's location. Luckily, when the police reveal themselves, he smartly finds a way to escape. In the end, he escapes while locking out the police in the room. Outside, he jumps on the bridge to escape the incoming police. There, he falls asleep while sending a text message about daughter's location. In the next scene, Annie wakes up under a huge bridge. Then she proceeds to search for daughter in the dark and filthy sewer. As the night comes, she sneaks towards their house to rest for a while. Later, as she turns on her phone, she sees the text message informing her about daughter's location. She then rushes towards the location. Upon her arrival at the location, she calls Blondie, telling him about the said location. Suddenly, the creature attacks her, making her fly to a hole where the creature can't reach her. Meanwhile, Blondie just realizes daughter's location after Annie's call, so he tries to escape from the doctors conducting an operation on him, but the doctors are able to stop him. Later, the doctors inject a huge needle into his neck, making him scream due to agonizing pain. Then the lead doctor arrives to talk to him. It seems that the lead doctor believes his story and asks him for information about daughter. This gives hope to him. But it turns out that the lead doctor is just trying to diagnose him. The lead doctor then thinks there is something wrong with his brain and recommends having an operation for him. After that, the lead doctor secretly reveals to a doctor that there is no virus found yet, contrary to the claims earlier, while Blondie overhears their conversation. Then the doctors drag him to the operating table. There, they proceed to conduct the operation on Blondie while he screams for help. Meanwhile, in the sewer, daughter is creating an escape tool by tying clothes to make a long rope, while she comforts the cute little kid. When she is done creating the rope, she throws it onto the metal above the sewer. As she tries to climb the rope, she hears the creature coming, so she immediately hides in the hole with the kid. But the creature finds them there, and it tries to attack them. Back at the medical facility, Blondie takes the doctor as a hostage to escape from there. Outside, soldiers are enjoying their barbecue. They are so stupid that they cannot stop him, so he successfully drives away using an ambulance. In the meantime, Uncle cluelessly wakes up under the bridge. Then he bribes the homeless man for the soju bottles. However, the homeless man smashes his head for bribing him. But later, the homeless man joins him in a taxi towards the river to help him. Meanwhile, daughter tries to escape from the sewer. She bravely jumps towards the sleeping creature to reach the rope, but the creature slowly drags her back using its tail. The creature then angrily attacks them. When Blondie arrives in the sewer, they are nowhere to be found. As he climbs down, the creature walks above him with daughter in its mouth, so he immediately climbs up to chase it. Along the way, Annie tries to shoot it with her bow. Shortly after, the creature swims towards the other side, while Blondie desperately chases it along the bridge. The protesters and the police officers quickly run away as they see the creature coming towards them. When the creature arrives on land, the operator releases the dangerous chemical to kill it. As the creature weakens, the police shoot at it. Blondie prevents the police from shooting while he rushes towards the creature. Then he drags back daughter and the kid from its mouth, but daughter appears to be dead. He desperately tries to revive her, but it is too late. As he carries her, Uncle and Auntie cry upon her death. After that, Blondie bravely fights the creature with a pole. Then Uncle throws Molotov towards the creature. The homeless man pours gasoline into the creature. Uncle then just needs to deliver a final blow. Unfortunately, he loses grips to the last Molotov. Then Annie comes to save the day. She sets her arrow on fire and shoots it towards the creature, setting it on fire. As the creature rushes to the waters, Blondie stops it by stabbing its smelly mouth with a pole. The creature then burns to death. After that, Uncle and Auntie mourn over daughter's death. Weirdly enough, Blondie goes to the kid rather than to daughter. In the end, he takes the kid with him. The movie ends back at their house, showing the remnants of the traumatic incident. It shows the photo of daughter and a news clipping of their family being wanted. The sleepyhead Blondie guards the snowy river with his gun. He is now taking care of the kid as his son. In the end, they peacefully eat their dinner. This is Daniel's CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.